Have you ever thought about pairing your beers with squid, rice, tofu? Coming up, I show you 5 iconic Chinese beer snacks. Hi guys, welcome to Happy Hour with Ollie. I'm Ollie, and what are we drinking today? Today we are drinking an imported beer. We are drinking this Qingdao Lager. This is probably one of the most well-known Chinese beers in the world. Why did I choose this beer? Because I'm gonna pair it with a bunch of Chinese beer snacks. That's why. But before I get tucked into the goodies, first, did you know? Did you know that people in China have been brewing beers for 9,000 years? Archaeological evidence proved that ancient Chinese people have been brewing beer-like alcohol ever since the 7000 BC. Like the ancient Egyptians and Mesopotamians, these people brewed alcohol with whatever materials they had at hand. Rice, honey, grape, hawthorn fruit. The alcohol was not only for consumption, but played an important role in ceremonies and ancestral worship. However, after the Han Dynasty, beers became less popular and Huangjiu, an alcohol made with mixed grains, became the preferred alcohol drink in China. Modern beer brewing was introduced to China in the early 19th century when a Polish brewery was established in Harbin, China. Soon, German, Czech, Polish, and Japanese breweries started to appear. These days, craft beer has become increasingly popular in metropolitan areas like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. Chinese beers often contain sorghum, rice, rye, and barley, and some beers even use a special squash-like vegetable called bitter melon instead of hops as the bittering agent in their beers. Okay, now that we've done a bit of learning, let's get drinking. Let's crack open this beer. So, as you can see, it's lovely golden and see-through. And because this is a lager, I'm going to expect it to be quite light and refreshing. Smells nice. Getting the smell of hops and malt right away. It's super sweet. And the head is very silky smooth and sweet as well. Oh, I feel like this would go so well with a whole bunch of foods. Yay! So let's get to try the foods. So these are the 5 most popular pre-packaged Chinese snacks on the market today. So I will first try the snack and then I will try pairing it with my Qingdao beer. So first up, prawn chips! Ta-da! Or in North America, you guys call them shrimp crackers. I couldn't find my ideal brand. The brand that I grew up eating was Sha Wei Xian, a Taiwanese brand. So I went for the Nongshim instead. But I have no doubt that it's going to be just as flavorful. Let's get into it. So right away, as soon as I opened the bag, I could smell prawn. So lots of that shrimpy sea flavor coming out. They're kind of puff and light. Crunchy. They're really trying to imitate the flavor of freshly caught shrimps. So it's kind of savory, a little bit sweet, got a little bit of tang to it. It makes you want to eat one right after the other. Now, I'm gonna pair it with a beer. Interesting. Because this beer is very light, it's really refreshing and it just cuts through the oiliness of the prawn chips. And because of the savory sweetness of the prawn chips, it enhances the sweetness of this beer. Next up, we have rice crackers. These are Wang Wang Xianbei. They're like my favorite growing up. I love these. And I got these giant rice crackers instead of little ones because I think these ones taste best. As you can see, it's just one big round rice cracker like the moon. And I'm gonna bite into it. I love this. So even though it's a rice cracker, doesn't mean that it doesn't have flavor or that it only has a flavor of the rice. As you can see, it's white on the inside, but all over the outside, it's coated with very sweet, savory, a little bit of spice. So it's really flavorful on the outside, yet crunchy overall. It's just a lovely thing. And now I'm gonna have it together with a beer. So I would probably say that this rice cracker is so flavorful that the beer in comparison lost a lot of its flavor. So instead of tasting like the sweetness of the beer that I did with the prawn crackers, with this, I feel like somehow the rice cracker demoted my beer into a glass of water or something. So I'll keep that in mind. Next up, we have dried squid. Chinese people love to pair alcohol with seafood. So let's see how this tastes. As soon as I opened up the packet, the smell of the sea washes over me. So if you're not into seafood, this might not be for you. But it definitely smells like the sea. It's very chewy. It is very salty because it's been dried, but then you also get like a sweetness of the squid coming through underneath. Towards the outer edges, it is more dry, but as you get to the center and as your saliva mixes in with the dried squid, it kind of like plumps up the middle bit and it becomes really similar to the texture of a real grilled squid or a calamari. So good. And then I'm gonna pair it with the beer. So it's very interesting because even though the beer is very refreshing and I welcome it after having the dried squid, I'm not sure that the squid actually adds to the flavor of the beer at all. In fact, it's kind of like almost like the beer is diluting the flavors of the squid because the flavor of the snack is way stronger than the actual flavors of the beer. Next up, tofu. Bet you're thinking that I would just bring out like chunks of raw tofu? Nah. Did you think I was gonna do the Impossible Burger? Nah. Ta-da! Dry tofu. So these come in individual packets. They have different flavors. So they're dried tofu curds and then cut up into little pieces. And they're marinated with spices and oil. The texture is similar to pieces of harder cheddar cheese. So even though they're in pieces, it's quite soft, it's very smooth. So I'm getting lots of flavors of peppers and sesame oil in there. So I'm gonna have a little bit more and then I'm gonna take a sip of my beer. Oh, this is good. So the beer, because it's so light and refreshing, it really cuts through the oiliness and also the pepper flavors of the tofu. And because the tofu is so savory, it actually brings out the sweetness of the beer. They make each other better. Last but not least, it's time for Szechuan flavored peanuts. And let's tear it open. Not only is it spicy, it also has special Sichuan peppers in there, so it's like hot and spicy and a little bit so spicy that it numbs your tongue. So time for the taste test. It's super salty. This spice is mild to medium for me, but it's really lovely and savory and tangy. Just a tiny hint of that Sichuan pepper, that numbing feeling. Actually, eating this makes me quite thirsty. So I actually think it's not just a pairing with beer, but I actually need the beer when I'm eating this peanut. Oh yeah, so because the peanuts are so salty, it really brings out the sweetness of the beer. The beer is quite light and refreshing, and it cuts through that really thick, oily, nutty flavor of the peanuts. These two go together really, really well. So, time for the conclusion. Which one of these 5 is the best Chinese beer snack? I really think it comes down to these two. These two have enough savoriness and oiliness, and they really make the beer stand out. I like them both, but if I really had to pick, I would pick the dried tofu. It is super yummy and it's vegetarian, and the flavors really, really go together with the beer, and it makes the beer taste even better than what it originally tasted like. So that's why I think it deserves the #1 spot as the best Chinese beer snacks. Which one of these did you think was the best Chinese beer snack? What other Chinese beer snacks have you tried? Do you have any recommendations for me? Have you ever tried other Chinese beers? Have you had a Qingdao or any other brand of Chinese beers? Please comment below and let me know. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll never miss out on a happy hour adventure with me. Also, please look me up on Instagram and use the hashtag #HappyHourWithOllie. Until we drink again together, cheers mates! Take care, bye!